Yo, 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 flip your 20 Friday. Still pandemic edition. All right, here we are halfway through the year. This is Flip Your 20 number 26. And that's halfway to the goal of putting out 52 Flip Your 20s, 52 Monday with Molly's. And fingers crossed, 1,000 subscribers by New Year's Eve. I'm at 550, I think, of this recording. So, as per usual, if these videos are helping you, people you care about, please go ahead and subscribe, share. The whole point is to help people live their best life and always improving and being a better version of themselves. So today's video topic comes from a lovely young lady from Canada who messaged me and said, "Hey Molly, can you do a topic on this?" And I was like, "Yep." So what she asked was, she goes, I like watching your videos. They're very authentic, and I want to share, my story, my message with, with her followers. But she said she's swayed by other people's opinions of her, of, possibly of what the haters are going to say, and, or being made fun of, or developing opinions of her that aren't really true. So she's like, well, how do you share your authentic self if, I'm worried about these things? Which is a great, great question. And I would add, it's not even, I would add that question is relevant in like every aspect of our lives. It's not just a social media thing. It's when you go and engage with your friends, your family, your work. How do you show up as your true self? So the message here, although I'm going to speak to her about this context, like on sharing it on social media, really is a message that's for anyone, like anytime you're interacting with any other human being. So just keep that in context. So, and this young lady, she's in college, and so a couple of things. First, the older you get, from my perspective and my experience, the older you get, the easier it is to show up as yourself. Now, I just turned 46 last week, and I remember very distinctly when I turned 40, and a lot of my friends, my girlfriends did the same thing. We turned 40, it was just kind of like, oh, yeah, I'm done with the nonsense. I'm just going to show up who I am. Cattiness, we're done. Let's support each other. There's just something that happened. But she's in college. So what I would suggest to accelerate that, to get to where you're like just showing up as who you are, is it's really important to do the personal work, the personal self-development, the growth. If counseling needs to happen, if you've heard any of my other videos, you read my book, you've heard my keynote, I'm all about counseling, therapy. Frankly, I think everybody should do it. So doing the work internally to make sure you know yourself as well as you can in the moment. Again, it's an always evolving process. That's a huge benefit and catalyst to allow you to show up as who you are, because you've dealt with the demons and the skeletons in the closet. So that would be one personal thing to do. And the truth is this, let's be honest. 0%, there's 0% chance that everybody's going to like you. There's 0% chance that everyone's going to be like, oh my gosh, you're so amazing. I have nothing bad to say. And I'm being sarcastic on purpose. There's 0 chance of that. So if you go in knowing I'm going to put this content out, some people are not going to like it, or they're going to unfollow you, or they're going to just be a jerk because they're safe behind their screen being weak and gross and, spewing hate at you. When you go in knowing that, it's a little easier because it's almost just expected. And I've often said, I hope there are people who don't like me. Yes, that's what I said. I hope there are people who don't like me. I mean, I know there are, because they've let me know. Oh, yeah, laugh at yourself too. But here's why I think this is so important. And again, from my perspective, if everybody likes you, to me it feels like you're a sellout. Because it's impossible for everyone to like you. There are some people I follow who I think are just amazing human beings, and some people just rain down like hate and disgust on them, right? Because they're probably not happy with themselves. So if you go in knowing, yep, some people are going to throw shade or think you're lying or that's whatever nonsense. It's expected. So there's not this expectation of like you have to make everyone happy. Never going to happen. And I'm not one to say like you can't do things. That's one thing you can't do. So I hope that part helps. Also, we can only control ourselves. We cannot control how other people receive our message. We cannot control how other people receive our energy. We can't control that. We can only, again, if we're talking about social media, again, in real life too, you put your stuff out there, once you hit send or upload or you make the video public, it's out of your control. You know, if someone's putting nasty comments, you want to block them, I think that's fair to do too. You can't control that. So there has to be a point where you decide, is your message more important than the haters? Does your message have more meaning and power and influence? Or are you going to let the haters have more influence over you? To me, it seems like an easy decision, but that's me. I also think, and I learned this from someone that I follow that I trust and great message, has really helped me with my growth personally and professionally, is if you don't share your message and you don't show up as who you are, it's selfish. It's selfish to not share your message, your wisdom, your gift, your expertise. It's selfish because you will be robbing the people who need to hear that message. You will be robbing them if you stay quiet. I remember hearing that when he said that, and I was like, ooh, okay. That makes sense. Right? Because we all have self-doubt. I do too. You know, I don't know how these are all going to be received, or will I get the followers, and are people... What I absolutely know, there are people who need to hear what these messages are saying. And are some videos more relevant to you than others? Yep. Are some of them even just the quality better? Yep. The message, but yeah. And are some kind of like, meh? Yep. Even I know that. Even I know that. But I'm not trying to be perfect here. As a recovering perfectionist, I'm just like, I'm not doing it anymore. I know when I post some that even I'm like, that was all right. And some I'm like, ooh. Now, that doesn't mean that's going to be received the same way. That's just my personal opinion. But I'm still going to post it because I'm not trying to be perfect. You've seen me here. I've spit tomato seeds out of my mouth. I've fumbled over my words. I don't edit. I'm not trying to. That's the whole point of this, is the real reel, not the highlight reel. So don't be selfish by staying quiet. What you have to share is going to help many people in some way or another. And I'll finish with 2 examples of why it's important to not let the haters or what their opinions are influence you. So Brene Brown is one of my fave people in the world. She's a researcher on shame, wholeheartedness. If you don't know her, BreneBrown.com, BreneBrown.com. Amazing. Her latest podcast episode is called, her podcast is called Unlocking Us. You can get to it from her website. See, no editing. And the last one she just put out on Wednesday was about shame. It was about how shame is not a good way to influence people to do things. And I won't go into it because she is way more articulate on this than I am. But go listen to that last podcast. Very helpful. Anyway, she's amazing, puts great content out, been doing the work for 20 years. Well, she's been talking about the racial justice movement and interviewing people and talking about her own things she's overcome, and when she gets called out, how she handles it. It's amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Well, she's been getting some people saying to her, people who follow her religiously, Like, can you just go back to being a spiritual teacher? Like, we don't need you doing this, like, racist thing or this, you know, talking about racism. And just, can you just go back to being a spiritual teacher? And she's all like, I was never a spiritual teacher. I love her. But this goes to, as this lovely lady asked me, what if people form opinions of me that aren't true? They're going to. There's a perfect example. She's like, I was never a spiritual teacher. Maybe that's how that person received it. That's on them, right? And she's not going to be like, oh my gosh, some of my followers, and she's like 10 million, are like, oh, stop talking about the racial justice movement. Oh, I better stop. She's like, no, full speed ahead. Okay? Another example is a woman I met at a conference who does triathlons, and she is like a plus size triathlete. And cool thing with triathlons is it's all ages, weight, shapes, people with 4 limbs, people with 2 limbs. It's an artificial legs, and it's, I mean, super amazing community. So she wrote a lot about being a plus size triathlete, and she wrote a book about it and all this. And she doesn't compete anymore, but she still is, you know, but anyway, she doesn't compete anymore. Point being, this whole racial justice movement has really woken her up, like, oh my gosh, our histories, what we learned in school was like that whitewashed, and she's stepping up and having a voice and like wants to be part of the change and is owning her place and things she said that were racist and done. And she's getting a ton of hate. People are like, can you just stay in your lane and just talk about triathlons? And then she did an Instagram live about it, IGTV the other day, and it was her 5 minutes. She's like, hey, first of all, I don't even compete anymore. I have one of the best books for women on triathlon, especially if you're plus size. That's great. She's like, I'm not here to talk about your swim stroke. And if you're coming to me only for that, please stop following me. And she had somebody actually say they were going to burn her book. Oh yeah, you heard it right. Someone was going to burn her book because she decided to talk about the racial justice movement. Verse, can you just shut your mouth and talk about triathlons only? Why I'm sharing these 2 examples, these are 2 really amazing women who people are hearing their message in a way that they want to hear it. We can't control people receive our messages and our energy, but in their head, the moment you go into another lane or multiple lanes, because we're multifaceted people, they're throwing hate at them. And they're not standing for it. They're like, please, unfollow me then. Yeah, stop. I don't want you following me because that's not even what I do anymore, or you're missing the point. So, to the lovely young lady who asked the question, to anyone listening, whether it's a social media piece, it's an out in the real world piece, what we need more right now is for people to show up as the best version of themselves in the moment. We are constantly learning, constantly evolving. We're going through COVID still. We have the racial justice movement, which is, it's not going away. It's not like, okay, are we done with the hashtags yet? Nope. So you have to commit. No, you don't have to do anything. I'm going to take that back. Not editing. I would invite you to commit to knowing who you truly are as a human, and if your intention is to do good and to be kind and to influence in a productive, positive way, please show up and do that. Please show up. We need more influential leaders. That's what a leader is, someone who influences. What we don't need is more silence because we're afraid or uncertain of how people will respond. Because they're going to respond however they're going to respond, good, bad, and ugly, anyway. They're going to respond that way anyway. What do you want to put out into the world? Share your gift. Share your message. Silence is not an option anymore for whatever that productive, positive message is. All right. I hope this helps. I see I went over 10 minutes. I try to keep it within 10, but I'm not going to apologize if it's a message worth hearing, then we'll go as long as we need to. So I hope this helps you. Again, please share, please subscribe. I will see you in a few days for the next Monday with Molly. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Flip your 20. Peace.